Yeah, man. What is up, guys? We are in a game, and it is Detox Thursday. 15-minute game, good. We can relax, we can talk. Might take a look at some of my games later. Maybe we'll break another world record. Oh, I gotta move. It's in the rules, guys. What if you can get in trouble for not moving? It's your choice, right? Be pretty rude. Go to a big tournament. You're playing white. You sit down. Just kind of squiggle in your chair. You don't even move. Not even once. 4 hours. Actually, probably be for 2 hours till your time runs out. Yeah. I think you get an hour for showing. You get an hour to show up, I think. At least you used to. Nowadays, you probably get like 10 minutes and need forfeit or something stupid, right? There's no, I don't know what it is, man. My hair's a mess today, guys. No, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm just gonna forget it's there. Forget it. Knight to this square. We will play knight to this square because we don't care about a pin. Like, he doesn't even have one yet. Man, the live alerts went out. Okay, there's one spot that's driving me nuts. It's sticking way out, guys. I mean, I don't want it to look ratty intentionally. Okay, there. Yeah, it's all over the place. Center, how you doing, brother? Plays the G6 maneuver, spending time to put his bishop behind his pawn. My bishop is outside of the food chain. I'm going to spend my time castling. Or do we play the D4 maneuver? I think D4 is in order, folks. We could leave his bishop locked. We could. And then he'll have to make a break to get it out. So let's just castle. Just castle. I need to start looking more at what my opponent wants to do, guys. I mean, that kind of goes along with what does he threaten, asking what does he threaten after every move. But what he wants, man, you know, I don't look at that too much, man. I don't. Like, for instance, he could, like, play his knight in here. Well, he can't now. I feel like I probably should have did what I was saying I wanted to do a minute ago. But that's okay. We're just going to lock our bishop in. If he wants to hunt it down, I might even leave it and just take the time, folks. Take the time to keep the pawn from moving in a forward motion. Bishop G5, H6. Bishop E3, Knight G4. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to pin it. I could take and play Knight D5. Stockfish might actually say that's good, Center. You know that? Because it loves making pieces better and making black react. Queen D2 if he doesn't do anything. Jesse Jennings, dude, Jesse, how you been, man? Hope everyone is safe and having a blessed day. If it's not blessed now, I hope it's a blessing in the making. What did he do? He brings the rook. Okay. Well, come here. Trey, what's up, dude? Great time last night, Trey. Freaking blast. We had so much fun gaming last night, man. It's so overkill. It's such overkill for all three of us. We're playing Elden Ring and we're killing every boss. And it's just funny because, okay, now this kind of makes a bit of a threat. If I take, he can take, and then my knight, my knight can come here. And his pawns are kind of messed up. I just looked at his rating. It's like, I don't know why someone would just give you this, though. You know what I mean? He could play C6. He could play C6. Takes, but if he doesn't, I might do this. And there's, he does rook. Okay, it's a story. I can hit the rook and attack the knight and attack the queen. This must be good. Do I lose? He has this idea, but the problem is bishop takes queen, knight takes queen, my knight takes, and I win a piece. What is this guy doing? How is he rated 1626? He's still going to beat me. He's still going to beat me. Will Anthony, how you doing? It's early stream hype, folks. They obviously haven't sent out every alert yet. So, guys, if you like what you see, you know the trick, folks. If you want to get involved, you can hit. I know how that happened. I have to keep making a new window for some reason, and I don't understand it, and it drives me nuts. But it's my life, so we're gonna live with it. We're gonna show you. We're gonna show it again. There we go. There we go. There's my Facebook partner gaming assets that I was given to by Facebook. He takes my bishop. Huh. That's actually not as horrible as it seems. The knight is still pinned, and I can push. I'm threatening to push. He needs to play this right now. He does. And then I can renew it. And then he can play h6. I think f4 is definitely the maneuver, but is this a good move? He could do this, and I could lose my. Well, no, not really. Let's come back. Because my queen's not defended, but it's not attacked. Plays bishop e6. Okay, defending. He plays defender, folks. He just played defender. Okay. So maybe all this wasn't as good as I hoped. Takes, bishop takes. Okay. How about then, and this is not pinned anymore, so he's actually threatening to take. If I push this way, he could play knight takes knight, winning a piece. That's bad. So I went out there, guys. I went out there. I think the move is to bring another piece. I also could play knight takes, bishop takes, and queen to this square, protecting the bishop. You know what I mean? So I'd take back with the queen. My queen ends up on c4. Well, it'd be looking at a pawn, but no, it's... It won't even be looking at a pawn. Will Anthony with the followers for 1,249 days. Dude, what's up, Will Anthony? Love you, my brother. I put myself in a bad position where I want to capture. I could just take the file, because what do rooks like? What do rooks like? Did I say I was going to lose a piece? Knight takes. I have pawn takes. And that would, in effect, morph my bishop on c4 into a pawn on c4. A big pawn. Dude, it's been over 3 years, Jesse. Yeah. Dude, November, I think it's going to be 4 years. Yeah. Yep. November, the end of November is good. I think I figure it like it's a little bit before Thanksgiving. I think I figure it. I think I counted on the 20th. November 20th, I think, is the day I figure as officially started streaming. So it's right around the corner, man. We're going to have to do a big 12-hour stream celebration, folks. My queen's in a weird square. It can be kicked. It's not good. Having your queen... Now, my queen's not doing anything so crucial right here. If takes... I think... If he takes with the bishop, I think we'll take here. And then when he takes... Okay, he wants to do that. If I do this, he can push. He can drop a pawnster. But it's not a full monster. Now, if I push I could push and press the issue. I'm going to, because he wants to push here, and he's scaring me, folks. Here, C6, we just come back. Just come back. And he can't, I mean, he can if he wants to. If he wants to see what my pawns on E5 and F5 will do, I think F5 is interesting. Eddie, thank you. I think it is. I think it's the way to play, man. Especially since all my pieces play. It's a break. It's a break. Takes. Bishop takes. If knight takes, we take. Rook takes. Pawn takes. And we have access to the file. You know what I'm saying? His bishop is kind of biting, and both of our rooks are playing. So we are up in exchange. A rook. We have a rook for right now, a knight. But the most important thing about it is his bishop doesn't look so good, and our rooks are looking good. When you have a bishop, when you have a rook for a bishop, technically you have 2 points of material advantage. But if your rook isn't good, or his bishop is really good, still a rook, but no, it's not always that big of a deal. Sean, big screen, how you doing, brother? Welcome, welcome. He plays this move. Now, this is probably wise by him. He doesn't want to trade his knight. My bishop actually back here, I don't like it because the only way it gets out is this is like all here's what I'm saying. I got to push here, undoubling his weak pawn, and most importantly, opening up his bad bishop. You know, Charles James Adams Sr. Look cool looking rooks. Rory loving them rooks, brother. You gotta love your rooks, or else if you don't love your rooks, no one will love your rooks for you. That's what I always say. I have a t-shirt. The t-shirt claims if you don't love your rooks, no one will love your rooks for you. Now, this is a big threat because, okay, I think we do this or this. I think we let him run. Because it's going to take another couple moves to do something over here. And I'm going to take. And after pawn takes, I'm going to play queen takes pawn. This is a real threat. It's a real threat. He may not see it. The further the bishop gets away from the king, the less likely it is. Okay, now this is kind of cool. Because it opens up the rook. And it threatens to play like, say, maybe pawn takes. Feels pretty good. Okay, now we play queen takes. With a big threat. With a big old threat. Charlie's got a big old threat. Charlie's got a big old threat. I got a big old threat, folks. You feeling it? You feel my threat? You should feel my threat. You should be scared right now at home. I didn't come here to make you guys freaked out. I'm just telling you. You should be fearing things like rook f3, rook f4, or rook f5, and then rook h5, rook h4, or rook h3. These are the things that should keep you up at night. Jesse Jennings with the music. It doesn't tell you. Does it tell you? My bot is on. Hey, Rory with the notified. Thank you, Rory, man. And Rory with the 20 stars, kicking stars up for the day. Rory, thank you, dude. Very, very kind of you. What? Okay, brings the queen. Now, this is still a thing. We can push. And sack a rook. See, the problem is there's... Oh, yeah, I want to come to this. This is my Manunu. Okay. Don't forget your queen. Now, he's going to try and kick my bishop off. He's also going to try and maybe block somehow. You know what I mean? pin the knight again? I like pinning the knight again. Because now this square is naughty. And now I'm threatening push and rook takes. You like? Okay, wait. Do we have better moves? Do we have better attacking Grandmaster scenarii? Yeah, exclamation point music does work. I love that you even know that. He wants to push. This is so slow. When he pushes, I can do this. Oh, but that attack will be gone. If I do this and he pushes... No, I don't want to push. When he comes here, it's going to suck because my bishop's going to be out of the game. Well, no, I'm going to have to take. But he can't. He can give the queen for two rooks if he wants to. He could totally do that. We can attack these pawns, maybe? The thing about this is, it's 1, 2, 3 moves away from doing almost nothing. If my bishop was on this diagonal, it would be a little bit better. A rook leafter. Push. Bishop takes pawn. Queen over. Push, pawn takes, rook takes. It doesn't do anything. It sacks a piece. There's not enough pressure in the fire, guys. What does he want to do? I think he wants to push here. Can we stop it? Or can we make a bigger threat? Oh, I could lift this way. When he pushes, come. Where does the knight go? It could come back. Then we can trade. I think we're doing pretty good there. Yeah, man, I'm loving that. It's the same vibe. Eddie Durant says, I think in the last position I would have pushed e5. If he takes, then you have rook f5, double attack in the pawn. Then you have space to move over to g5. Maybe so, Eddie. I remember for back in earlier streams, always chilling. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone do exclamation point music on the Facebook stream for a long time. Probably the coolest guy making chess content. Rory, dude, you're too kind, man. You are too kind. Here and here. He pushes. I play here. He can't play knight h5 because I take with my queen. He could then take and break open, but I'll have another piece, and my pieces will be very active. Rook f3. Is there any future in it, homie? I'm playing it because I have to move. I think it's not bad. I think this is a good move for him, and then we move because okay, he wants to trade queens, but we just do this now. Right? We do this, and we got a tempo in the lift, and then we come over. You got nothing, buddy. You got come here, and attack an invisible pawn. I mean, he needs to play this so bad, but I don't think it's gonna help. I just play rook over. We hope your day is amazing. Hey, Weston, man, how you doing? Hello, everybody. I hope your day is amazing, dude. Hope you have an amazing day too, man. My day's off to a great start. When I'm playing chess, I'm having fun. You know what I'm saying? That's what goes on in my life. I like to play chess. I woke up pretty late, guys. I streamed a lot yesterday, man. If you guys are aware, yesterday was tournament day. We had a great tournament. Did a nice little 4+ hour stream. So this is going to win more material, I think. There may have been a better move. But if he does this, I just play rook takes. And then we'll be up a full rook. Well, no, yeah, it's good. No, it's going to be really bad. Because then he should play bishop takes. Then I play queen takes. No, then I'll be up a full piece is what it is. He comes back, right? Now I think we play the check. Oh, queen takes, rook takes, knight takes. The funny thing is I can still do this and check. So we'll take the 7th. Let me be sure there's no tactics here that I'm missing. Like, hit the square again? Takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, and he will lose for sure. He'll lose all his pawns, guys. And look at his bishop. It can't attack my pawns, guys. They're on white squares. How did you do in the tournament? Unfortunately, I missed it. Rory, I got lucky. Weston Taylor with the 300 Facebook Gaming Stars. Can we get some sub hype in the chat? And guys, yesterday my sister gave 5 gifted subs, and 3 of them got claimed. Stars hype in the chat, folks. So what you want to do is, you want to check either right here, click that button. They call it green, I call it blue, or I call it blue, they call it green. It's a mixture of both, so neither is wrong, right? It's called turquoise, right? Hit that button, see if you have a free sub, or check your Facebook bell notifications and see if you were gifted a free sub to Charly Sardo Gaming. Claim it. It's free. There's no obligation. You have to enter no information. You just get 1 month free of the behind-the-scenes footage, access to the ever-popular Charly Sardo Gaming exclusive chillers group. You get behind-the-scenes footage, stickers for chat, chess workshops, and more. So check it. Check it. Yeah, rook f7, Eddie. Okay, now. Taking with the bishop is almost kind of funny, but it's not. Because, it puts baby in the corner. That's why it's funny. Because if he comes here, I'll come back here and take this pawn. But the thing is, I think we just take here. And if he pushes, we could come here pinning a pawn. Right? I think rook takes bishop wins. Okay. He allowed... Wow. Dude, this guy's got an issue, guys. This guy's got an issue. He's 1626. You know how, like, when you think someone's cheating? Whoa. How did it get cropped? We're playing that one again. So you got it, Rory. Rory, did you get one? Did you have one waiting, Rory? I think Rory had one waiting, folks. Oh, that is so cool. Let's play it again. It was so beautiful. Rory, thank you, man. Yeah. So you had one waiting. Oh no, you didn't have a free sub, but you went ahead and subbed up anyway. Dude, thank you, man. This is the guy I just played. Yeah. He's gone. Okay, let's take a quick look at this game. We will go to the ever-growing in popularity Squiggler Cam. What the WTF with the Squiggler Cam? Oh my God. What the W? What am I like? What am I like a window capture 7 or something? Why does my... Does anyone know why my life does this sometimes to me? Doing it. Hey, they can't stop me, guys. Guys, I made a mistake. See, all the beautiful whiteness above the line, that means I'm doing good. But see where the arrow is pointing, folks? That's bad. This means, whoa, come on. This means I was doing really good, and then I made kind of not the best move, but I still am winning. And then I made a bad move, guys. I made a bad move because my evaluation went way down. See it? And then he didn't capitalize on it, and it came back. It came back. Yeah. And then I grew my advantage pretty good, and it was just too much. Daniel Abbott with the like. Okay, so let's get off the cam and get some stats. Weston Taylor became a supporter. Weston, did you get a free one, or did you do like a Rory? Because Marty Hall. I've been telling everybody, Eddie, guys, check. You can check and see if you have a gifted sub, because 5 were gifted yesterday by my sister, and only 3 collected them. So there's 2 still outstanding. 2 or 1, unless hopefully Weston got one. Weston, welcome to exclusive chess chillers here at Charly Sardo Gaming. Glad to see you, Charlie, and hope these chill cucumbers in chat have a blessed day. Catch you later, and much love. God bless. Be sure to spam those reactions. Dude, thanks, Jesse. And it grayed your comment out for some reason. I got a free one. Dude, Weston, I will totally tell her, man. Unhide that. And, yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you so much for being here, man. Guys, the community is growing by the minute. We have to look at it. Okay, it says, do I have to move my mug? Wait, now we come here. Okay, at least we have a board here. Now I gotta move my mug. Game rating. It says I played like a rated 2,000. Whoa, might want to hold on to that one. Hold on, guys. I gotta take screenshots. And then, and it says he played like a 12.50. Okay? He had, neither of us made brilliant moves. Marty Hall with the 100 stars. Marty, thank you, man. Thank you. Weston and Rory, you guys have stickers now. Now, with great, what's the word? With greatness comes great opportunities. I don't even know how to say it. You guys have stickers, and you guys can do stars hype when you see people put stars in the chat, man. Thank you. And Marty Hall says welcome, and he has a star badge by his name. He also has I'm looking at Marty's a star badge. He has a top fan badge, and he has a 3-year follower badge. You're a beast, Marty. Thank you for being here. Okay, so neither of us made a brilliant move. I made 1 blue great move. I made 11 best moves. He made 9. I made 2 mistakes. He made 1, but he had 1 miss and 1 blunder. And you say, but it's not that far off. I made more mistakes than he did. The biggest thing about it, why he probably gets that 1250, is just like the quality of his moves. Not that he played a losing move. The quality. That's how I think it works. Let's go to start the review. We'll do some good positional play. Let you seize the advantage in the middle game. Ooh, yeah, man. Daniel Abbott says my friend got super strong. I got to study my books. Yeah. Well, 11 best, 1 great. Nothing wrong with that. It's not too bad. I'll take it, man. Opening with the king's pawn, controls the center and opens up the light squared bishop and queen, often leading to sharp games. Thank you, chess.com. They should have like baby mode and like wink wink mode. Like right here, when E4, if they let me write the script for E4, it would say best by test, and I wouldn't quote Bobby Fischer. That's what Bobby Fischer said. E4 is best by test. But I would just say best by test, and people that know would be like, oh, that's the Bobby Fischer quote. Bobby said that. And then people that don't know would be like, huh, best by test. What does that mean? But it wouldn't be saying, you have moved your king pawn, and now your bishop can come out into the game. This could lead to a sharp position. Enjoy your game. What do you... I mean, I like happiness. I like it sometimes, guys. I freaking like it sometimes. Okay, your knight becomes more powerful. Oh my god. Okay, this is the first bad move. Now, I looked at this, but I don't think it does anything. It doesn't do anything. What's that guy's name? Boston Mike? Coffee Chess? Anyone watch Coffee Chess on YouTube? They got a big YouTube channel. And the guy, Boston Mike, he's a trash talker. But he says, with his Boston accent, he always says, it doesn't do anything. It's just funny. It's just, I like it. So I stole it from Boston Mike. And my family's from Boston originally. My dad was born in Boston. I love Coffee Chess. Yeah, it's great, man. Okay. I love the review, but I hate the review. I love the review because I love the idea of the review. I love the way it says stuff. I hate the review because if you want to look at the game, it goes... Oh. You could have made a better move here. And it skips past like 8 moves. And a lot of those moves were the best move. Now, I think we're gonna see, and I might accept. Wait. I might have to come to this screen for it, guys. I might accept my prize, guys, because you know what? In this position, Charly Sardo Gaming played. Whoa, that was freaking bad. Let me try it again. In this position, Charlie. I'm amusing myself. I hope I'm not boring, driving you guys crazy. Charly Sardo Gaming played Knight D4. Great move, otherwise known as Grandmaster move. Okay, that's all I wanted to do. I made a Grandmaster move and I took it. Why? Couple reasons. One reason, it's good. There was only one good move and you found it, forcing your opponent to double pawns. It doubles pawns. This pawn, when it was here, after some breaks, somehow, maybe even c6 in here. When this pawn was here, after some breaks that I just showed you, this pawn could eventually maybe come to life and let this beautiful monster bishop. This is like a monster that's buried. He's buried under the sand. It's a sand monster. And he wants to, at some point, let the monster out, right? And that would come, like I said, with some pawn breaks or something, like f5 here, getting some captures going somehow, to where he could push the pawn and open up the bishop. But when the pawn is here, not only is this pawn weak, it's overextended, it's doubled, but it's way harder to ever move this pawn. Okay, sure enough, it does give him 1 extra square for his bishop. You know what I'm saying? I just like the fact that the double pawns are good. I like the fact that the pawn is weak and it's out in the middle of nowhere. He plays knight. I played knight d5. You ignored a better way to move a knight to safety. Huh. Woo! Excuse me. Okay, it wants knight e2, folks. It wants knight e2, attacking the weakling. It wants knight e2. Oh, wait. If I go back to the review, and I go here, bishop, knight d5 was a mistake. Retry. We got to retry. What's your favorite opening with black or white? I am the worst at answering favorites. Marty Hall, bless me. Thank you, man. I literally read that like, thank you, and I was like, oh, I just sneezed. But thank you. I met a nice lady the other day at my gig. I'm open mic, and she says, what's your favorite song to sing? And I'm like, I'm the worst at favorites. People ask me favorites all day long. I'm going to answer your favorite right now. What's your favorite opening with black or white? My favorite opening with black is the Sicilian Najdorf variation. It's what I've been working on. It's what I've been learning, and I enjoy the intricacies, and I enjoy trying to get better at it. And it just so happens Feeding Master David Bassett he's very, very well versed in that opening. So he came in the other day, and I was playing an Adolf, and after the game, he said what the plans were. I was close on the plans. Knight b6. So yeah, Sicilian is black, and with white, I actually like to play the white side of when they play a Sicilian as well. I like to play e4 and bishop c4. I like the bishop's opening, which often turns into an Italian game. Okay, so I should have played this move, guys. Retry. Wait. Okay, well, either way, moving forward, I should have played knight e2. And then after knight e2... You ignored it better way. I want to retry this move. Here. Knight e2 and show moves. Yeah. And this is kind of weird. And I'll tell you why it's weird. Because it has a real nice beard. And it's really not a funny kind of guy. It's actually not as bad as it looks. He's got space. This is probably pretty good. After a6, this could be a real stormy scenario. And my bishop was kind of getting locked out of the game in some lines. So actually, I don't really care too much for this. Also, let's go back in the opening and just look. e4, e5, bishop c4. See, this is what I like to play. Knight c6. Number one move is knight f3. That's what I played. g6. Now I'm out of book. Number one move is d4. Number two move is c3. Number three move is castles. Castles. Okay, bishop g7. c3 is a move. d3 is the second most common move. There are 2600s that were in this position. Knight f6. And it is in this position. We have an entirely new game. Hey, Bill Stevens. Dude, Bill, it's 3 p.m., man. They're not early. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, what you're saying is you love the early streams. You like the 3 o'clock. Yeah, I love it too. It gives me more time for a bigger, fatter stream. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I might go to 2. I ain't kidding. Knight c3 is good. It wants d4. I considered d4, but I didn't play it. I also consider rook e1. Yep. Top moves are d4, knight c3, which I played, and rook e1, which is what I considered. Knight c3, second best move. Castles. A4, h3, bishop e3. The thing about this move, I think it doesn't bother because it's just h6. It puts a question. I don't know if I like the answer. It wants a4, just clamping down on the square, and like a6 and b5 don't come. I guess a4. That's what they call positional. Daniel Abbott. That's what they call a very positional move. This is right, because what does it do? Well, it opens the rook a little bit. Controls b5. It's the best move. I don't know. Were we expecting a6 and b5? It seems very odd to me. But either way, bishop g5 is good. That's good. That's an inaccuracy. He should have played in this position h6. Then I got to come back, and then he can play knight g4. And if he's paying attention, he almost always will. Knight g4, bishop d2. Now, my bishop is on not an inopportune square, but so is his knight. You say, what do you mean his knight's right by your king? You think my bishop got kicked? Yeah, this knight's getting kicked. This knight's on its way out of here, buddy. We're sending it back to the pregame lobby where it belongs. Bill Stevenson, so I just have to transition into daddy mode around 5. I usually watch whilst cooking dinner and stuff. At this time of day, I usually have a half hour of decompression time. And the chess stream is great for that. That's awesome, dude. Okay, so. Yeah. So that's why he should have played a6. Then I jump on it. I can't believe that's not the best move. It wants knight d5. Okay. Here. Now in this position. That was best, right? Okay. Knight d5. Oh, yeah. We're here because of the... we had to look at the opening. Okay. Yeah, and it wants me to play knight e2, but I played this move. Rook comes up. It wants f4. Oh, f4 protects them both. And more importantly, if the rook backs out, I can hit the knight. So his best move is rook g5. Oh my god, takes. It's amazing. Bishop takes is way better. Oh yeah. Okay, check this out. Bishop d5 is almost up a rook. It's plus 4.8, okay? But taking this way, it's only like I'm up 2 pawns. Why? Because he traps my bishop. My bishop is freaking stuck, dude. He can't get out. I can't even play here and here and try. It's like, oh, I still can't. Wait, I'll come here. I gotta push and open up his bishop to let my bishop out. So it'd be horrible. Okay, so f4 was better here. I attacked the rook. It's still plus 2. That's his best move. That was good. It wanted c6. f4 was best. Bishop is blocked. Yeah, Bill Stevens sees it. Bishop e6 brings the rook. That's a mistake. It wants me to bring the baby. Get the baby. Put the bishop b3. The bb3. The bb3. It wants me to come back, guys. Protecting the bishop. No, not just protecting it. Why? It's already protected. It's just an improving move, I guess. Dude, sorry. I like rook e1. Oh, now it's liking knight f6 too. Knight f6, bishop b3, or a4. a4, guys. Remember the move. In all positions, it seems a4 is probably just best. That's a joke. Don't do that. Do not do that, okay? Okay. How's it going? I still watch you every day, says James Ledbetter. Oh, I need to start playing chess again, but my hours don't line up with your timing. James. Well, dude, thank you for still watching, man. Love you, brother. Yeah, you got a 2-year anniversary badge, man. Joseph Song says, always nice to have chill time and take things easy. I always hope to see those rare low percent opens and at wild castles in good castles long in games. Good game always develops with positioning and I like crazy mid games. Yeah, well, that's a good way to do it. Bill Stevens says, if you move bishop back, you can push the pawn. That's probably why. Push which pawn? Oh, this one. No, I still can't though. Well, let's look at the line. Bishop b3. Knight takes. Takes. Bishop to the f6 maneuver. Queen to the g3 square. Takes. And what do we have? Well, he actually has a really strong bishop, dude. I can't even bring a rook because of bishop. But now I can. Yeah, so we can, because we have a beautiful open file that we can probably infiltrate on. Or, I don't know, this is probably, it says I'm equivalent of 2 pawns. So let's just see if we played it accurately. Wait, did I go back far enough? Yeah, I did. Okay. We'll get to the next game. Yeah, I didn't like that. That's funny. F5 was excellent. Knight f6 was best. Takes. Bishop takes. C6 is good at 186. He never kicks my queen, guys. Oh, I missed it. Guys, I had this, and I missed it one move, Daniel. I wasted a move. No, I didn't. Yeah, because I was afraid he was going to kick me off. But it doesn't matter. It's a horrible blunder. Because I get this. You feel? Yeah. King h8. E5. And he's being completely crushed. So I played A3 before FG6 because I was worried about my bishop. But now I can take. Queen G6. Uh-oh, guys. Uh-oh. This is what Hikaru would say. It's uh-oh spaghettios. I like the rook move. That's what David Bassett would do. Yeah, bring the freaking rook, man. Yep, bring the rook. Okay, now. Queen back was best, guys. Get out of that, because he could block it. And then he could do this, and I gotta move my queen, and then he could take if he wants to. It's like, okay. This is okay. Rook F3 was best, guys. I was a little bit tormented here. But I found Rook F3. Now watch Rook F5, guys. Best move. And now watch Rook F1. Best move. I'm coming in, guys. He comes back. Now, we'll see if there was a tactic here. Guys, does anyone see anything better than... I guess... I could have played... I think it turns out the same. Maybe Bishop F7 check works here. I don't see it, though. Oh, it's so naughty. I literally considered, I said, what if maybe we hit this pawn again? But I can hit it there, like I can hit it like this again, guys. Is that crazy? And now we're threatening rook takes. Oh my, king h8. Oh, the 7th rank. It wants bishop f7 is better than rook f7. How? What in the world? Queen h4, threatening nothing. It's a story, folks. Rook h5, threatening mate. This is how bad it is, guys. Yeah. Wow. So this is a great position to where I have him. We'll look at rook f7. Eddie, this is a great position where I have him completely in a bind. And it's like, this, the way I did it, relieves the pressure, wins a pawn, trades down into a clearly winning endgame. But I want more. Queen g6. He has to play d5. Then we play rook f7. And his best move in this position, according to Stockfish, is queen f8. And we just wait. The queen's not going anywhere. Just takes. We're going to open her back up, folks. Oh, yeah, because he has to stop the mate. A4. Yep. Wow. Oh, D6 now. Running for a touchdown. And it's too much. Okay, so we're going to look at... You were asking what if... Yeah, what... So the number one move is queen G6. The second number one move... The second move is rook F7. How does it work? Oh, because double discovered mate. I didn't see the double discovered mate. Look, queen takes. It hangs my queen. And this is checkmate. It's double discovered mate because it's double check. Check from the rook, check from the bishop. When you are in double check, you see how it's checked twice, right, guys? It comes with a... I think you have to do a discovered attack to get double check, right? I'm not sure if there's a way to do it another way. But you discover attack with the bishop, and you make a check with the other piece, and now it's check two ways. When you're in check twice, from two different pieces, it's called double check. And in such positions, the only way to get out is you have to move your king. You have to move your king. Because you can't capture both. I can block this bishop, but I'm still in check from the rook. I can take this rook, but I'm still in check from the bishop. You can't do two things at once. So you're gonna move your king. Well, he can't move his king because he's in check. He'd be in check. Yeah, that's a pretty good shot, huh? Rook f7. I didn't even consider the double discovered mate. Yeah. What kind of car do you drive? I drive a big white Ford F-150. I love my truck too, man. I love my truck. I'll tell you this though. Texas, it could be a problem. Like if you go to the airport or a concert, you better know exactly where you parked your car because you're never gonna find it. I made a reel outside of Joe's in Llano. And we were out there for a gig one night because there were like 4 white trucks in a row, and then like a tan truck, and then like 2 more white trucks, and a black Blazer, and then another white truck. Like full-size trucks. No mini trucks. I swear to God. You go to Walmart, it's just funny. Everyone has a white truck. That's what you do in Texas. Get a white truck. You're involved, folks. Yeah. Okay. So that was a shot, guys. That was a shot we didn't see. It's okay. Here we go. What kind of car did you drive, Bill? Very curious. Well, you probably have to have. You probably have more than one car. Okay, you got a family. You might have something like an Explorer, Suburban, like a mid. I'm curious. Okay, so that was it. Rook F7 was a great move. What did I play? I played Queen takes, Rook F7, trading down. It liked Bishop F7. What's so good about Bishop F7? Because it puts baby in a corner. And then, oh my God, we're going after the knight, guys. That is so crazy. A4. It wants G3, but let's just go. Second best move is this. Going for it. Bishop E5. Rook takes check. Rook takes. Bishop takes check. King takes. B3. What a weird computer line. Never seen anything like it. It's kind of like what I did. I'm just like trade down. And then, yeah. And guys, in this position, I did see the discovered check. Joseph Song says sometimes those second moves lead to easy setup for opponent to blunder, not always facing the computer. Yeah. Yep. Okay, let me see. Yeah, so then it, he just gives me discovered. Now, he probably at this point, this is like, people fall apart at the end of the games a lot of times because they're already like, I'm already lost. You know what I'm saying? We could shut, wait a minute. We could shut off Grandmaster move, guys. Could someone shut off the Grandmaster move? I just had a discussion with Rook Raider Rubies over there. I think she's looking at her phone, guys. She's not working. Let's get into some more play. Let's play the most popular time control in the world. 10-minute chess. But not till we go to the Coffee Cam. Welcome to the Coffee Cam, folks. Hey! On Facebook, you can type !merch to find out about the Charly Sardo Gaming It's a Move coffee mug. Okay, this one I want to shut off so it doesn't go every time I change scenes. And when you say, what do you mean it's a move? It's a move. We got a big one, we got a small one. They're both great. This is the big one. Okay, we're going to play a 10-minute game, see what happens. Bill Stevens says I have a Honda HR-V. It's like a small SUV, right? Like SUV Junior. I used to have a Honda minivan, but I just picked up my buddy's VW GTI. Nice. Turbocharged. Oh, no. Are you racing around in that thing? You got to say sports cars are fun, but my gear wouldn't fit. Right. Makes perfect sense. Very curious to me at the YouTube stream. There's just no one. There was like one viewer earlier. It's only had 7 people. Oh, it says there were 3 people at one point, but no one has said anything. So I haven't been ignoring them. So I guess I won't shut it off. We'll keep it on, guys. Hey, you know what I did today, Bill Stevens and community? I applied to chess.com to become a chess.com streamer on YouTube. We're still going to keep our streams here on Facebook, but I can send it to YouTube as well. Most important part of that is I can get listed on chess.com and maybe grow the community. You know what I'm saying? So that's my new fun thing I'm trying right now. Now all we do is we wait, see if we can accept it or not. Here we go, play. All right. You got to go first, buddy. Oh, it's a 10-minute game. Oh, do it. You know, I was thinking about, should we try it now? This is my rapid rating, but I don't care. Guys, Queen F6. Well, no, in this move I have to play this. In Queen E2, Queen E7. Knight G4. I've seen Knight G5 before. I have. You just take it. Queen. Yep. Good. Now his queen's in the way of his bishop. My queen's in the way of my bishop, but his knight has to move. Sometimes they'll. And I had a guy in this position. I had a guy move his knight here, and I just took it. It was so funny. He played queen check. I came back. It was hilarious. And forcing the queens off. You know what I mean? It was funny, man. Now, if I play this move, knight D3 is not a bad move. If I play this move, his knight has to move. But it doesn't because he has a check. And when I push, he takes. And there are threats. So, knight F6 first. Double defending the pawn. Sometimes they'll play this move, but I leave this pawn on D7 to play C. Now, this is just me. This is my opening, the way I play this variation of the Latvian Gambit. This is not Grandmaster stuff, but this is fine. Right? And now, we simply play here. And we open everything up. Attack on the pawn. If he takes... Do we take... He could get a queen check. Do we take with the knight? We take with the queen. Let's take with the queen. Or do we just develop a piece? What if we just bring a piece, guys? What if we just... Can we just bring a piece? I've never played this move before. Never played it before in my life. Takes. Okay. Oh, I was going to play knight takes. But I can't. I can't. Because of the check. Guys, the check is brutal. Queen check. G6. Pawn takes. Wait. And then the knight can come back and hit the queen. The pawn pushes. Discover check. Knight takes queen. Pawn takes rook. Turns into a queen. Swear to God. It's stuff you got to know, guys. It's all stuff you need to know. I guess I could take and take. I didn't want to do that. I developed this bishop. And he... Oh, thank God his bishop is on the square, but he could play bishop to this maneuver. It's a well-known maneuver. He wants to protect a pawn. Play it. I'll develop. I promise. I'll develop. I promise. My rook's unprotected. Take queen. I know. I just hate to take queen so bad. I like trying to force high-value trades early. Do you, Joseph? Dang, you have it all figured out. Yeah, man. The thing about taking a queen, it's a major concession, and I should have never put myself in that position. Because it's my move in this position. And after I trade, it's my move in this position where the queens are gone and his piece is developed. It's like I spent my move to develop his piece. I love this maneuver because I'm going to rip this. Blocking this file where my king is. Then I might take this. Hitting another pawn. And I'm ready to castle. And he can't stop me. He can castle, though. He didn't do it. He's scared. He's so scared. Why? This is an airy king because of the light squared bishop fiasco. But he doesn't have a dark squared bishop, and I could just play king over, king up, and probably be fine. I don't think I'm losing if I play this move. I'm going to play it because it grabs a... Well, wait a minute. Maybe I could do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this move. No, it could get hit. I'm going to put it here. And now if castle's hitting my bishop, I'll castle here, hitting his bishop. He just has this diagonal, though. It's like not that... It's not like he doesn't get this check. You know what I'm saying? So, whatevs. I was worried about this diagonal. But we're ahead in we're ahead in D, folks. We're ahead in vitamin D. It's whoa. Yeah, only. Now I could play this. He would play A4, but it weakens. I'm gonna do this. Didn't even look. He can push. I think we come to this square. He might play A4. This is a beautiful square for my knight. This is a passed pawn. It's a criminal! Did you guys not see the criminal? How do I move my knight? Do I go here? He might play this to annoy. Oh no, he has rook takes. He could double my pawns. And I'd really rather not have that, guys. Because I feel like... What am I? I'm down a pawn? This could be bad. This could be bad. So we need to make it made of something different than sad. If I play this move, he's going to attack my rook. My rook can come to this square. Takes. Rook over. It seems dangerous, but I think I might be okay. Because the bishop covers. He could play bishop bang and bring the rook, but then I could do this. Oh, man. What about this move? The knight comes in. It doesn't feel... Oh, I dropped a pawn! I dropped a... I dropped it, guys. Pawn's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Son of a... Well, okay, you didn't see it. Now this knight's kind of out there, but see, this pawn is hanging. And he has, like, this, and then he comes into this square. It's really, really, really bad. It is made of sad. God, why did I drop my pawn? The question is, can I get it back? He pushes. He just pushed. Just like time doesn't mean anything. I'll take and protect. Take and protect. Knight here's a good square. I'm really happy this is here. His knight. Wow, yeah, that knight is kind of... Okay, now this square is weak. We have to make left. We have to make balloons of love. 99 of them. 99, guys. Sing it. 99 Luftballons. Consider the horse piece maneuver possibility. Jay, how you doing, man? Good afternoon, dude. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, my brother. Yeah, I did something wrong with the YouTube stream. I know I did. Now he's starting like not really takes. This is a maneuver. No, it's not really. How do we hit this? No. Do we just come? I think getting rid of the kid. Truth and chill. Does everything look okay over there? It looks okay over here. This is too strong. I just looked at this. It doesn't do anything. He just gave me an exchange. I'm hitting a pawn. I can say check and start and trade off. Okay. I can't play bishop takes because my rook is hanging. But this is good, guys. That was a huge mistake. I can just move the rook now. And then, oh no, it's double attacked. Oh yeah. I just got bishop back. No. Yeah, bishop back. Okay. Look at this. My pawn's hanging. No! Rook takes. And then I have bishop check at the end, folks. It's a manunu. Yeah, looks plenty of room for activities. Yeah. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for checking it out. Because I'm like, tournament day, yesterday, we had a reasonable showing. It's only my third day streaming. Uh-oh. Oh, we don't have it yet. Son of a gun. Guys, I wanted to play check, king over, and a rook check. But we gotta wait for it. I guess we take. Come on, play the knight. Play the pawn. Take the pawn. We're winning, guys. We're crushing. We're absolutely winning right now. We have a rook for a knight, and we have a pawn. A rook and a pawn for a knight. So that should be good. Does it mean we can't lose? No. We get active. Let's get active, guys. Let's get physical. I wish I had a headband on right now, guys. If I had a headband, it'd be freaking crazy up in here right now. It'd be very Olivia Newton-John. Truth says, looks plenty of room for activity. What'd I drop? I dropped the pawn. Okay. Hit the knight with the major threat and checkmate. Right? No! It goes like this. Check, rook takes. This is the puzzle rush. Guys, we have a puzzle rush scenario. Rook check. He has one move. Rook takes. Then we say bishop check. He interposes the knight. We say bishop check. He has to play over and we take. This is, guys, you see the mate? Yeah, Josh. Dude, you know, these puzzles come up. They come up. This is puzzle rush time, guys. Puzzle rush. Oh, no. And you know, oh, wait, no, he goes here, though. Yeah, he's not forced to go over. He can move up. It's winning. It's winning. Because we win the rook if he doesn't get mated. If he comes here, we say check. Then we take the knight with check. Or we take the knight. Yeah, puzzles always give it a tremendous rush. Dude, this isn't bad. Okay, now. I think, do we play with our food? I think this is probably correct because we keep L pressure. You like bishop takes rook check first? Better? Because this way, now I can take with the rook. With a discovered attack threat and hitting the pawn. I'm just threatening to win the knight. Well, not win the knight. Nope. But yeah. See what I'm saying? And then we take this. You can attack my rookster. I could play a check if I want to. If you want to. You love it, folks. You love to see it. Whoa. It's attacking, guys, but look at this great move. Attacking. He can attack my bishop, and then you know what I do? I take his pawn. Oopsie. Defending my bishop. Defending the hopper, guys. And now I'm on the knight again. Knight. I probably could just do this. We could play a check. We could go here on L7th Renko. I lost on time! There's no way! Dude, did you guys know? I lost on time! I lost on time! There's no way! Oh my God, I lost 9 rating points. I didn't understand the severity of the scenario made available to me. If that makes sense. It doesn't. Wow. That was just a little bit cray-cray, folks. Dude. I didn't realize. You know what's funny? I looked at my clock. I'll get it back. Oh, yeah. I really don't care about the rating points. But, I mean, it's just such a crime. It's such a crime. My mind's blown. No, Joseph Song, I didn't. I don't feel like I won. I did not win. You don't get to win on the board by using more time than your opponent and then run out of time and lose the game, and say, that way you get to win no matter what happens. What happens if your opponent plays better than you but he loses on time? What if he wastes all his time making good moves and he does horrible time management and you win on time? Does that mean you lost? I can't have it both ways. I understand what you mean. I did better than him in the game. I played better than him. But I used more time than him. I used more time than him. So it's kind of, you know, that's the way I look at it. Everyone can. That's one great thing about stuff like that. When it comes to gaming and competitions, everybody looks at it the way they see it the way they see it. But the way I see it is I lost that game because you got to do it in the time allotted. 80% for me, 70% for him. I had 2 blue moves. Oh, I had a brilliant. Let's find it. Let's find it, guys. I don't think we need a squiggler cam. I think we're just going to go through the game. E4, E5. Oh, yeah, I played a Latvian in a 10-minute game. This is best. White is +1 right now. It's like he's up a pawn. Well, because he took a pawn. But I'm in a position I've played hundreds of times, and he's in a position he's probably never seen before. Okay? because everyone doesn't play this garbage. The garbage. Yeah. It gives me a blue move for this. The only move, and you found it. Well, it's in my book. It's in my opening brain. Okay, now that's a mistake. Oh, I have queen of 7. Knight c6 is better. I was worried about this check, but I was completely blundering. King d8 is good. Queen f7 is good. This is actually not bad. Knight c6, dc6 lets the bishop out. Now my knight's going to come with tempo. You say this is horrible, Charlie. Look at this position. It's basically equal. It's basically equal. Yeah, I always play this move to stop the check, guys, because I was afraid of it. I don't need to in this position. I could just go play knight c6, and I will next time. d3 is a great move. c5 is a mistake. It wants knight c6. Guys, I'm a kicker from way back. I get a big El Centro. It wants me to play ed3. Takes. Sacking a pawn. Right now it's plus 0.63. It's like he's up half a pawn. When I come here, it's like he's up like 1 pawn. So that was like only lost about half a pawn. That's the best move. That's no good. Okay. Knight b4. Oh, hitting the pawn and this square. See, whoever takes first loses. Because in this position, it's his move. And he could do something productive. If it works, he could develop a piece. But if he spends his move like this, it's this move. It's his move in this position. He could use it to develop. Instead, if he takes, it's his move in this position, and my bishop teleported to e7. He basically spent his turn to develop my bishop. Okay, he let his bishop out, but you don't want to take. Yeah, it wanted it knight b4. Knight b4, because now I'm hitting this, and I forgot it's pinned. It's pinned. Bishop e3 breaks the pin, so now the square is not, and now I play, bishop f5. Hitting the square. White is still better, but it's very tactical, folks. It's very tactical. Awesome, Rosa, how you doing, man? Okay, so takes. That's a miss. Knight b4. Again, I should play knight b4. I took the pawn. Now it's +3. He's way better. Doesn't feel like it, but that's a bad move. Taking was good. It wanted me to play bishop f5. Takes. Now bishop f5. Best. Hey, I finally made the best move. Can you believe how many not best moves I made? Where's the brilliant? It said I made a brilliant move, guys. We gotta find it. It's coming. It's coming. He's hitting my bishop. In this position, back here, right here, I could have castled. Long. And Stockfish likes it. Stockfish likes castles long. It calls this position equal. I go here, there. It didn't like it. It liked bishop g6 better. Interesting. Check was good. King over's forced. Knight comes. That's a mistake. Knight e5. Improve the amigo's knight. Hit the bishop. Look at weak squares. Knight e5 is better. I like knight e5. Knight e5 is cool. He breaks in El Centro. That was bad. I wanted bishop d7. He comes in. That's bad. It wanted rook f1 check first. Let's see what the line is. Rook f1 check. Rook f1. Bishop e8. Defending that way. How crazy is that? Look at the bishops, guys. Austin, everything's good for me, man. We're having a beautiful chess stream. Having a great time. Hey, man, if you're watching, I'm restreaming also to YouTube, and there are 3 people on YouTube watching, man. If you're welcome to YouTube, guys. If you guys like what you see, hit the old, I don't have it on this page. Hit the subscribe button, or throw me a like. I stream chess Monday through Thursday at 4 p.m. And I've been doing it for almost 4 years, guys. In November, late November, we're gonna have a 12-hour stream celebrating 4 years of streaming. It's the end of November, guys. 4 years ago. I'm not playing that. Sorry, Stockfish. I'm untangling like every other confused person. That's a blunder. I had to play takes. That's no good. That's the best. Push is bad because I just get it for free and get untangled. Here is a mistake because I just do what? That was good. Rook E8. Rook E8. Okay. Rook E8, I guess. That was bad. Oh, that's pretty bad. You want a bishop D3. I looked at bishop D3, but you're not really winning it because but I hit the rook. Oh, he can't come here though, and I thought he would, but he can't because of my knight. Rook F4, and we're playing chess. There's nothing happening there. Okay, bang. Now this is just a blunder. This does nothing. It doesn't win anything. Oh, did I say 4 p.m.? Did I say 4 p.m.? Guys, we changed our time from 4 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Texas time. That's when I stream. I'm near Austin, Texas, folks. It didn't like this. That's a blunder. He just gives it. It's like, what? Now, let's see if there was... See, in this position, if we could get this check off, it would be great. Takes a pawn. Knight comes. Oh, it wants B5, guys. Because when he takes C4, kicks the knight, and sets up the puzzle rush. Dude, that is such a great lesson, Josh. Right? B5. B5, threatening to kick the knight. He has to waste a move. He has to waste a move. Well, CB5 is the second best move. C4. Oh, knight D2 covers, though. Knight D2 does cover. But then I get this. And then where? He goes back? Yep, he has to go back. And then we probably go this way. No. Okay. So I thought we were going to be able to force a puzzle rush, but we couldn't. But it was still pretty good. That is the double exclam, folks. There is our double exclam for the day. Rook F8 check. Rook takes. Bishop check. Now, someone said bishop takes rook in this position. Probably is fine. Actually, it is probably better. It's better, actually. You know why? It is better. It's better. I did this keep... Well, bishop C5 is best. Why? See, because if I do this, he comes here, I take with check, and it's my move again. And if we do this and he comes to H1, I take, and I'm threatening mate. And it's my move again. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm up a rook. But it liked bishop takes knight better, man. Barely, but it still liked it better. And then here, taking with the rook is best because it makes a threat. We rip. Yeah, and this is nothing. There's nothing more to see here, folks. Nothing more to see. Okay, man, you guys want to try and break my world record on Vision Trainer. On Vision Trainer, my world record... So I understand it's a personal record, but I like to call it world record because it sounds like a bigger deal. Okay? I'm trying to be a streamer. Give me a break. You go to more. Wait, where is it? More. And then Vision. And there you have it, folks. And then we put up our... And I changed the attempt. I used to do attempt. I used to say attempt... attempts. Now I'm going to count them. This 31 here is from we killed 31 bosses last night. Oh yeah, I got a button for this. Okay, so on the Vision Trainer, this just helps you learn the language of chess, learn the squares better, visualize the board better, knowing where every square is instantly with your eyes closed. You can analyze better in your head. You can remember things better. It's just overall, it just takes you closer to chess. And all grandmasters, or a lot of them, are really good at this. And, they're good at it. I want to be good at it too. Would your time once you get pretty good at this, would your time be better spent doing puzzles? Probably, yeah. But it's fun too because it's like a video game. I drink a lot of coffee. Now I'm doing attempt number, so this is attempt number 1. Okay, wait, and actually, I'm gonna move this 0 right here. Attempt number 0 is 0 a number? 0 is not a number, is it? What is it? It's a null. What is 0? This is attempt number 1, guys. We got 5 attempts. They only take 30 seconds. Okay? I think it's like B takes K because the king doesn't move out. As a result. Yeah, makes sense. Daniel Abbott says, no way you can beat it. Ooh! Is it an integer? Is it not a numeral? Is a numeral the same thing as a number? Just a fancier word and harder to spell? Who knows how to spell that word? Okay, E4, E5, F6, G6, H3, A5, H5, B4, B6, 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 B6. I double checked myself. B3, B6, 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 B6. Of course, B6. E4. Okay, let's go. God, no! Yeah, I knew it. It was going to be 27. No mistakes. I felt like I got lucky. I had a great idea. I just had a great idea chess.com should do on April Fool's Day. This is the best idea in the world for chess.com on April Fool's Day. Check this out. It's so mean. On Vision Trainer and on Puzzle Rush. Every move you make is right. People be like, oh my God, my Puzzle Rush record was 23 and I just did a 42. You know what I'm saying? It probably wouldn't even be that much. On Vision Trainer, even if you make a mistake, because a couple of those, I went pretty quick. And I felt like I might have clicked on the wrong square. And it ended up being right. There were no mistakes. That was attempt number 1. We got 5. Yeah, so what if they did that? What if... Oh, dude, wouldn't that be funny? And then afterwards they said, hey, it's April Fool's. And everybody today on their first Puzzle Rush they do and their first Vision Trainer they do, every answer was right. So this is your actual score. Or just flip the board and then they're all wrong. Well, I can't flip the board. But my record is 29. And I've done, I think, 4. I think I've got 29 like 4 times. And when it was only like 3 days ago, maybe I got 29 3 times. So I can get to 30. And my goal is to get to 30 and then flip the board and then do the black side until I get to 30. That would be freaking hilarious, man. They should totally do that. Okay, here we go. Second attempt. E5, G6. That was a misclick. I was at it. Wow. I went to the D file. Yeah, I'm turning around right now. Wow. That's okay. It's okay. Just gotta relax. This is all practice now. Okay, that was botched. Here we go. Okay, that was attempt number 2. And this is attempt number 3. Let's go. No more mistakes. E4, G6. Wow. 28, and that was horrible. Do you see how slow I was? 28, guys. Okay, that was my third attempt. We only do 5 a day, guys, because it, you know, I don't want to make this like my new challenge in life, but I figure 5 a day is enough for me to get better, right? Okay, this is attempt number 4. I picked it up. That was a 29. That was so close to a 29. A6 was twice in a row, guys. If I would have been hanging out over here and got that second A6 and that very well could have been 30. So we're gonna get 30. This is my last attempt for the day, folks. Last attempt of the day. Here we go. E4, F5, K. That was 27 with 3 mistakes. And the first mistake, I was going to the square and I clicked at the wrong time, but I had the square in my sight. The second one was right after it, and that was a fluster. That was a mistake. H5 was a mistake too. I think I went to A5 or something stupid. I think I did that one of the earlier ones. So I'm all over it. We're going to get 30, guys. We can get 30. I'm not going to do it today. I'm not, we'll get it tomorrow. White letters on white square as a background make it harder to recognize the right away. Joseph Song, I did panic. I got nervous at champs. Joseph, yeah, the thing is, the idea is, well, they don't have white letters on white squares. I mean, it might be hard for you to see on your phone, but if this was a black and white board, it would be the best. Let's check it out. Let's go to settings, board and pieces. Is there black and white? Board, purple. There's no black. Graffiti. What's the darkest board? I can't believe they don't have black and white. I mean, black. What does it take? We'll go walnut. Maybe this. And now let's go to more. Oh, I gotta save it. I gotta save that board. Let's go to more. I mean, who wants to save that board? Yeah, no. See, because it uses like the opposite color square, but they don't have enough contrast. If it was black squares and white squares, the white numbers and letters would stand out glaringly, and the black ones would too. Guys, we got to get our purple board back, man. This is freaking driving me nuts. I'm having a freaking meltdown over here, folks. Board and pieces. Get me out of here, Wilma. Get me out of here, Wilma. Piece. Okay, board. It was purple, right? Purple works, folks. Okay. That is done. Board in pieces. Saved. My point, but what I wanted to tell you is, Joseph, it makes it hard to see them. And when you're learning, you need to see them. But I am actually never looking at them. I'm never looking at them. I don't go down and go, oh my God, where's the G file? I know where the G file is. And then I just got to click on the number. But I don't go G, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know where G6 is because I just know where G6 is. You know what I'm saying? It's like it goes way past being able to close your eyes and read a graph. Okay, there's A1, there's A2. So if he has a pawn on B3, okay, there's B1, 2, 3. Okay, I see it now. I see it in my head. You can do that. But I close my eyes, you say B3, I see a chessboard and I just see B3. You know what I'm saying? That's what knowing every square, it's the difference. It's the difference, you know what I mean? And it's not even necessary. I would say a great way I've learned the squares for them to actually have a name is studying openings or studying chess with a book with algebraic notation. Because in an opening, I'll show you, like, let me see, let's go to profile, bring up any game. I want, this is the JF the Best. JF the Best had a bad day yesterday, guys. He's a pretty good player, man, but he just dropped some forks. The Buck Wild game was really good. But I'm going to show you, oh yeah, I'm going to show my attempt counter off right now, and I'm going to show you something. Okay. Well, E4. I play E4. The move E4, I probably have played the move E4 more than any chess move in my life. As far as a piece move goes, right? Because that's how I start every game as white. Someone could probably come up with a reason why that's not true. Okay, but I know what square is. If I close my eyes, I know where it is. It's right above my king. It's right there. It's right there. It's a white square. It's a white square. You know what I'm saying? But it gets better because C5, that's how I know where C5 is. Because this is the most common answer to the Sicilian. So C5 is very easy to know where C5 square is. You just know. You just know it's the black square. It's a black square up to C file, right? Knight F3, that's where my knight always goes. So I know where that is. If I close my eyes and you say F3, I know F3. I actually visualize it from this move. But I know the square very well. But it's when you play the pawn move F3, that's where it happens. So it's like I know it from an event. I know almost all these squares from events. From you understand what I'm saying? D6, I know D6 from D6 in the Sicilian. D4, I know D4. Actually, I just know D4 because it's the Queen's. It's D4 from, like, if you're playing Queen's Gambit or whatever. E5 comes from E4, E5. I know where E5 is instantly. I just close my eyes. I know where E5 is. It's not about, I don't see the pawn moving there. I see a blank board. I just know where E5 is. You know what I'm saying? There are some squares like B6. B4 was getting me a little bit. And like for some reason, H5 was getting me because I would click on H4. I'd start getting flipped. And I think I made one of those mistakes earlier too. Yeah. But another great one, G6. Okay? On a blank board, I know where G6 is instantly because that's where you move your pawn to fianchetto. And it's actually called the move G6. That's probably why E4, it's so easy because E4. The move is called E4. The move is called the name of the square. G6, the move is called the name of the square. B6, the move is called the name of the square. And when they go to fianchetto, which I often do in King's Indian, or when my opponent does, G6. I got the, and then like F7, that's the square you sack your bishop on, man. That's the square you F7. F7's right here, man. It's real easy to see. It's real easy to remember when the board is off. It's the white square right where you sack your bishop on. And so that's how I know most of the squares and how I know some better than others. It was a draw until I get the fork, I think. No, I think you were losing. But I didn't look at it. Because you made a lot of mistakes. I think, weren't you losing before you gave the last fork? I think I was clearly better. And then you just like gave me the game. Right or no? Now I'm curious, Jeff. I'll look at it if you want me to. Okay, so... Oh, yeah. I never know what to do here when they play instant e5. Usually this move is in, guys. Usually this move is in. So, e5. It's bishop b5. I played knight f3, which is the third most common. This is by far the most common move. And the most common reply is knight d7. Oh, and then is it like knight f5? Yeah, knight f5, double attack. Wow. What? a6 takes, queen takes, blocking his bishop. He has to take this way. Knight c3. This is pretty crazy. Okay. e5, early e5, I played bishop b5 check. I just came back. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't know what to do. I'm wasting too much time. I'm playing a tournament. Just move your knight back, and we'll transpose into a position I'm familiar with. And that's what I did. a4 has to be the move. It is. I played it. Hey! Okay. b6. Bishop g5 is the number one move. Now bd7. Queen e2 is number one move. I played queen d2. And no one plays queen d2 in the entire book. Okay. And it is here we have a new position. Yeah. Jeff, we'll take a look at it. Did you look at it? Did you look at it with the game review and stuff? So what's happening here? In these positions, guys, try and control this square. And you try and win this pawn and keep them all cramped up and bind it up while you maneuver around and try and win stuff. I beat a 2300 in this opening, guys. And I beat him exactly by winning this pawn. And then he should have just traded queens with me, but he wouldn't do it. He's like, I don't want to trade queens. So he put his queen like on a. He let my queen stay up in the middle of the world rather than trading it because he was down a pawn. He's like, I don't. I mean, that's the only reason I could see why he didn't trade is because he's like, I want to keep the queens on and beat him. If the queens come off, it's going to be harder for me to beat him, and I'm down a pawn, which I don't want to do. He would have just beat me in the end game. He would have just beat me in the end game. He was 2300. He would have just beat me in the rook pawn. Just play me a rook pawn end game and beat me. I'm gonna do it all wrong. When I was, this is a long time ago when I was actually a stronger chess player than I am right now, but I wasn't as good of an endgame player. That's for sure. I could calculate better, I'm sure. Type tips for me. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Back. This is a blunder, and that was a miss. I had knight d5. Someone pointed this out because this is protected. So I have knight d5. It's a free knight, guys. Yeah. Bishop d5. And then we take this way. Oh, here. And then do we take this way? Yeah, this is brutal. This is brutal. It's brutal and futile. Look at this. You don't even take the queen. You don't even trade queens. You just take the other pawn. Now we're on this. It's too much. Okay. Yeah, so I missed that opportunity early. I want to look at Jeff's games. Yes, if the requested square was in black letter and number. Oh, I see. The requested square. Yeah. Oh, so he wasn't even talking about the coordinates. I didn't get it. I didn't even get that. And yeah, so if it's white and I went to a darker board, it would be easier to see the letter. So when you guys are looking at it, it's kind of hard to see the letter on stream. I thought he was talking about the letters, man. That's so funny. I didn't even get it. I want to look at the JF game then. It's a very short game. It's a 20-move game where he made a lot of blunders, guys. And yeah, I haven't. It was our 21 moves. 21 moves. Brilliant moves when you find it great. Okay. Well, I didn't. I played 93.8% accuracy, guys, because it's a slow game and he made some really bad moves. He still played 81% accuracy, JF. Do you like Throne and Liberty, brother? Sean, you know what, man? I started it and I was like, it was time to stream, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to it right now. You know? So it was fun. But I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to it. So G6, okay. This move, I don't know if JF is still here, but dude, and you're rated 1400, man. That's great. I don't understand why you would just take a knight. No grandmaster ever. Just take a knight for no reason. This is a developed piece, man. And it's a bishop. And Gotham Chess literally said you need to stop giving away knights for bishops for no reason. You know what I mean? If there's a reason, do it. There's no reason. In this position, there's no reason. Okay. Knight. D6. E4. Cool. Castles. LC4 Manunu. C5 is an accuracy. Overlook opportunity. Develop a knight. It wants knight C6, guys. It literally wants knight C6. Crazy. Okay. C5. Takes. Now I can't hold a file, but neither can he really. Oh yeah, I get bishop check. Now, I'm trading this bishop for this knight because it doubles your pawns. There's some reason there. You know what I'm saying? But it probably still isn't best. It says it's excellent. Takes. Now I'm pinning, and now I had the option I was talking about. Look what it's going to look like if, like, let's say he plays rook here or something. Takes. Look at his pawns. Look at his pawns. They're very weak. And the knight can attack him on any color. That's what's pretty cool too. So that's just, yeah, you know, you don't normally want to just give the bishop up, but the first bishop to mess the pawns up, I don't do that very often. I don't always know if it's worth the bishop for the knight. But the second one, if I play bishop and takes, the second one I'm much more likely to do. Because then he's like, pawns are everywhere, right? Daniel Abbott says, I've been there with knight and bishop. It's tricky sometimes. Yeah. Gotta love fast cars and freedom. R flats. Wait. Oh, Bill said, I'll have this little sports car for a month until his mom comes to get it. I think I might drive it fast as often as possible, but safely. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, from here. Yeah. So the reason I'm looking at this is because, oh yeah. And I did this this is kind of like a little trick because he still has to mess his pawns up because he can't take with the king because I get the fork. And he took with the king, and that was his first mistake. Okay? So now I'm up a knight. And I thought I had a maneuver here, but I don't. So I have to lose a pawn. What did I think was here when I played knight back? Here. Oh, I thought I had king. The problem is he has rook here, and when I come over to try and win the rook, I don't. It's not even there because he could just come out. Yeah, but this is what I saw, that the rook could be protected for a move. And so it was a blunder to come in like this with the knight, but it's okay. I said, okay, just go start taking pawns. Yeah. Oh, I see. So he was saying he thinks at the end it may have been a draw if he didn't blunder the fork. In this position, I think it's nowhere near a draw. I am up just a clean night. You know what I'm saying? I would be very wary about trading down to this end game thinking it's going to draw. I mean, you're going to get a pawn maybe, but I get a pawn. You know what I'm saying? What's the move here? Okay. Well, yeah. No. Okay, if you don't do that, okay, it's minus 4.23. A3 defending the pawn. Now I probably play A5. King E3, Knight D5 check, King E4, Rook. Oh wait, Rook D8. Yeah, a piece is too much. Oh, before the first fork. Before the first fork, I think I'm slightly better because of the pawn structure. And like in other words, I have equalized. Yeah, it's basically equal, but you don't have the opening advantage anymore. You do have the bishop, but it's minus 0.14. Yeah, this is I thought you meant after the second fork. I'm like, I thought you were losing. But I went back to look to be sure. Yeah. Yeah, this is probably okay. But I just like the fact that all these pawns are weak. I don't know if I'm going to be able to capitalize on it. You know what I mean? Rook D8, take the file, start shoving, E6. I don't really like putting all these pawns on the light squares, but it does blunt the bishop. Where's H4 over here? Knight A5, bishop D3, B6. Yeah. It's calling this equal right now. Yep. I don't really have any infiltration squares. As long as you keep some pawns in the dark squares, my king can't get in. Your bishop covers the light squares. I don't know. How do I get in? I have to play. I have to do something. The only way to make a pawn break is to fix your pawns on one side, right? So a white Ford truck that's made by Chevy, right? No, it's even better. It's even better than that. It's a white Ford truck made by Ford, but somebody, when they bought this truck, they put mud flaps on it. And the mud flaps say 4x4 on them. And my truck is not a 4x4. And I care so little about that I haven't done anything about it since I bought the truck. It's paid off. It's been paid off for a long time. What year was it when I bought it? I don't remember. It's an old truck. It's 2008. I'll tell you this. I asked my mechanic. I said, if I want to buy another truck, what do I get? If I get like another used truck, not like a brand new truck. If I want to get another truck, something I might want to get something a little better, lower miles and stuff. He said definitely before 2012, and I'm like, it's like I already have that. He's all I know. It's like there's you're gonna be anytime you have a problem, you're gonna be at the dealer. You can't work on anything anymore. They have problems with this, the new transmissions, these drivetrains. He said there's so many problems with so many things, computers, blah blah blah. He said like your truck, that's like the truck you want. Like, I guess I'm stuck. Talk about my mud flaps. My girl's got them. You know that tune? I don't know if I know that line. Talk about mud flaps. My girl's got them. I'm not sure if I know that. But yeah, it is kind of goofy because any guy who's a guy will look at my truck and be like, that's not a 4x. It's like it's something a kid would do. If a kid got a little fake truck and it wasn't but it was a replica of like a regular truck that wasn't a 4x, he'd ride 4-wheel drive on it because he'd want to be cool because he's 4-wheel drive. Yay, right? Yeah. I don't even care if people think I'm a dork. I drive a Ford Fusion, but I got a Ram 1500 sitting around. Yeah, well, you know what, Daniel? Everything is computerized. Yeah. Hey, Branson says, hello, Charlie and Chillers. I'm all safe and sound here in Florida. Good, Branson. Good for you. I hope everyone you know is doing all right. Marty Hall, thank you for the 100 stars. Weston Taylor for the 300. and we had some subs coming in today too, guys. Rory got himself a sub. Weston got himself a sub. What a beautiful day of support. I'm doing a new opening. It's the Bishop's opening, Berlin, Pisani, Urosov, Kandinsky. Did you ever try it? That's what I play. I play to Urosov. Normally. It always transposes into like a, an Italian or something. Jay Williams says, great news. Yeah, Bill Stevens says, Spinal Tap. Okay, Big Bottom drives me out of my mind. How do I leave this behind? That's funny. White out fixers everything. Yeah, so I was thinking about getting a car. You know, because when you get a trade-in, you get money from the trade-in, right? Lower payments, blah, blah, blah. But I was thinking about getting a car to save my truck from breaking down and drive. That way, let's say my truck has another 50,000 miles in its life. Okay? Or what I mean by that is, let's even say 100,000, but it probably doesn't. The transmission or the motor is gonna need thousands of dollars of repair within, I bet, 50,000 miles. Okay? So, if I buy a newer car and drive that and only use my truck when I need to drive my truck, then that 50,000 miles, I'll have a truck for freaking 10 years, 20 years. At least 10, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, if it's my main car. Now, I don't drive a lot. I used to drive a lot when I was gigging a lot because I would work out of my house. I'd have to go to gigs. Sometimes gigs are far away. And I would drive my truck a lot. Now, when I work at home, sometimes I don't start my truck for a couple of days. If I don't have to go out for provisions, you need an old Sigma as a runaround. An old Sigma, guys, I don't know what that is. An old Sigma. Accord or Civic is always a good idea, or a turbo Volvo is a great maneuver. Yeah, Hondas are great cars, man. Bill Stevens says, that's a great idea. It's always nice to have a truck. I wish I had an old truck I could bang around. Yeah, Bill Stevens, I said it before and I'll say it again. Like, you could be the guy that has a truck, or you could be the guy that needs somebody with a truck. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to need a truck. Maybe some people just be like, what are you talking about? I'll never need a truck. Well, do you ever go to Home Depot and get a dryer when your dryer breaks down? No, they deliver it. Okay. Did you ever go get a Christmas tree? Where do you put that? Maybe have that delivered too. If money's no object, you never need a truck. When you've got to move, how do you move your furniture? I pay for movers to do it. So I would say people that can pay other people that have trucks don't suffer very much by not having a truck. People that, for me, I don't make so much money where it's not worth it for me to go pick up my own refrigerator if it breaks down, or for me to haul my own trash to the dump. If I don't have trash to go to the dump, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, like for instance, this thing back here, this couch. When I move over to the new place, guys, might be moving to a much bigger place, much bigger. And I'm gonna buy, guys, I might spend some money on furniture. It'll be just so nice to have a reason. I'm gonna have space to breathe, and I want a beautiful environment, guys. I want a healthy space. This is great. I love this place, and I can make this place anything, but it's just turned into, because it's so small, it's turned into storage for guitars and computers and my stream. There's no point in me doing anything with that sofa now because no one ever comes over, no one ever sits on it. But when I get rid of that sofa, I'm going to have to take it to the dump, and I'm going to throw it in the back of my truck. I'm going to drive to the dump, and I'm going to push it out in the freaking ground, folks. I have a truck, and people always ask, hey, you have a truck? Right. I'll tell you, I learned from my best buddy, Bubba, in the world. And he really, there's a few people I will call my best friend. I don't call everyone my best friend, but there's a few people that were such my best friend for such a great time in such a serious part of my life, and we still have amazing love for each other, that I would never ever say that Bubba is my best friend over Co, over Richard, over Alex, over Kurt. Those guys are like, they're my best friends. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm moving. Bubba's like, yeah, I don't help people move. I didn't ask him, but he was just like, yeah, I know you're moving. I don't help people move, just so you know. I'm like, all right, that's fine. He doesn't help people move. I freaking love that. He just, like, I have a policy. I don't help people move. And he has a truck too. He doesn't help people move, folks. I got to move. It was freaking hilarious. And I'll tell you another great, this guy Casey's a great singer, Casey Epps. He's a great guy. When I say he's a great singer, he's like a very, very high professional level killer singer. Real nice guy. We were standing around at a gig, and we were standing in a circle talking. And one guy who's a very close friend of mine, I love him to death. He starts telling conspiracy stories. First sentence out of his mouth, I'm not going to even say it because I didn't want it on my stream. We can't start talking about this stuff. But the first sentence out of his mouth, I'm like, oh, here we go. And Casey just so wonderfully just stood there for about 30 seconds and said, maybe less. Maybe he got his first sentence out. And Casey's like, yeah, I don't do conspiracy stories. And he just walked away. And I got left there with my friend, letting him finish his spiel on go to this video on YouTube and look at this video on YouTube and just look at the evidence. And I'm like, cool, wow, yeah, you know. But Casey's just like, I don't do that. I don't. Bubba, but and they're both big guys too. They're both my big friends. Casey's quite a bit bigger. But Bubba says, oh yeah, I don't help people move. That's his policy. And so he has a truck, and I think he insulates himself that way by having his truck, right? In case you don't listen to no conspiracy problems. Are you moving, Mr. Sardo? I thought you had made mention of a new location for your belongings. It's quite possible. Hey, Ruel, what's up, man? Not sure if you remember me, but it's me again. Yes, I totally remember you, dude. We talked about your name and everything. Tuning in for the vibes has become a few monthly habit to get the wholesome Charlie wisdom. Ruel, dude, thank you. Of course I remember you, dude. If you have a friend named Bubba, chances are he's got a truck. Yeah, well, he had a truck. I assume, I don't even know what Bubs drives anymore. It might make it easier to see the number of the square and letter if the number and letter were in black. Right. Yeah. But you can't change it is the thing. I don't think you can change the color. I think I can change the board, but I think that the letters are going to be, you guys want to check it out? We'll see if we can do it right now. Yeah, you remember, that's me. Yeah. No, I remember you, dude. Yeah. And now I know that people that you just run into on the street that look at when they call your name at Denny's, they say Rua, right? But is that how you pronounce it? Or is it like Hoist Gracie? Do you pronounce it Rua? Because I remember we talked about it. The thing is, I don't remember the answer. Probably because I didn't see you 100 times after, and I didn't get to reinforce what I had learned. You know what I mean? Guys, we're gonna go to the darkest board we can find on chess.com. Whoa, wait, no. Settings. Okay, board and pieces. Okay. Board. Green, dark wood. Save. Okay, now let's go to vision. Vision. Okay, we'll see if this looks better. I'm gonna go ahead and do one because we're here. It's gonna be weird with the board, but it shouldn't be. It should make no difference. Your truck has that closing lid thing. Hard to move things. Your truck. Oh yeah, you got like a hard tonneau cover on the back. Is that what you're saying? Here we go. Start. 2, 1, E4, G5. What? How? What did it was? Where did I click on? Oh, did I click on A4 instead of H4? Was that the one I got wrong, guys? Yeah, now we're just coasting. What a joke. I think I did. Yeah, I clicked on A4 instead of H4, man. Well, that would have been H4 if the board was flipped around. Oh, yeah. So is that easier? It's easier to see like that, right, Jay? I'm sure. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm not even gonna really play one. I'm doing this to look at it. F8. Okay, look at it. B5. It's way easier to see now, guys. Right? F8. Wait, let's get them all wrong. I wonder how many attempts we can get. Will we ever get it right? Odds are 1 in 64. Hey, we got one. Okay, now this is a new game. This is a new game. How many? Okay, guys, pick a square. Someone pick a square. Pick a square. Pick a square, folks. Any square. Pick a square, any square. Mine is pronounced J. Yeah, that I remembered. That I remembered. Yeah, that's a good one. Guys, someone pick a square. We're going to do Vision Trainer with only one square. D4. Rhodes got it. Okay. We broke the game, guys. We broke the game. We broke it. We broke the game. Close that. Refresh here. I won the game by resignation. More Vision. It was broke, guys. You guys ready? Okay. We're gonna click D4 as many times as we can. Our record is 1. But we got to get lucky. D4. Come on! D4! My fingers start to hurt! Dude, I can't do it! Oh my... I'm changing fingers. Oh no! Oh no! I slipped off it for a second. Did I miss D4? There's 2 D4s, guys. We need one more for the new world record. We got it. 3. We got 3, folks. And they literally won't... There's no start again button down here. They're like, you are clearly abusing the mechanics of the game. Dude, we got 1, 2, 3, and right before before the second one, right after the first one, I think there was a D5. Yeah, there's no D4s that I missed. Yeah. I tried to switch fingers. That was a mistake, folks. Yeah, so we definitely broke the game because we took up all the space at the bottom of their program, and usually a thing will pop up and say like, try again. Chess.com's like, I think you've had enough, buddy. Maybe you should head home. Yeah. Catherine McKay liked my stream, folks. You absolutely love to see that. She's a beast. She's an Elden Ring beast. Is there any news in chess, guys? Any news we can celebrate? Quarterfinals. Ratata Spanish squad outclassed Chess Dojo. Progressed to semifinal match versus the Cramlings. Okay. And I think Eric and Nemo are in a semifinals too, aren't they? There's a big tournament going on. Embrace the darkness. Get ready for the Chess.com Fog of War Chess Championship. No, not doing that. Magnus Academy operations to transition back to its original founders. Yeah, team. Oh yes, my queen with Queen Trap versus Dan Bamba to advance to semifinals. Okay. So basically, it looks like they showed a picture of Gary calling for an arbiter, folks. And is that Firouzja? Gary asked for the arbiter after Firouzja lets go of a rook and then moves it again. Wow. Records and rushes getting broken here at Charly Sardo Gaming. Yeah, guys. Firouzja moved up. He let go of a rook and he picked it up and moved it to a different square. After they led for most of the event, it was unsurprising to see the PBG, that's peanut butter and graham crackers, Alaskan Knights become the first team to secure a spot in Saturday's final. The Knights defeated the so-and-so Kings, now have to beat the Alpine Pipers. Okay, they have all their cute names, folks. I want more on... Tell me about Firouzja moving to peace. Did anyone see that when it happened? Did anyone see... Like, it's like, was he trying to cheat? I mean, you can't do it. Parham, no. They're not making a big deal about it. Okay. Oops, Firouzja did it again. Here we go, guys. Grandmaster Alireza Firouzja has won 6 games in this tournament against not too shabby players. Not too shabby players either. The two he lost involved heavy blunders, and today it was part of an incident that required the assistance of the arbiter. When Gary took the black H-pawn on move 59, an endgame appeared on the board with bishop, rook, and 3 pawns for him, with 2:20 on the clock, against 2 rooks and 1 pawn for Firouzja, with 1:58 on the clock. Okay. Bishop, rook, and 3 pawns. Okay, so he had a bishop and 2 pawns. Boy, against... Yeah, he had a bishop and 2 pawns for a rook. And he's up 22 seconds when they're down to 2 minutes. A lot of meaningless maneuvering followed, and on move 88, Firouzja placed his rooks on f1 and d3, when Gary moved instantly and missed the winning move bishop e2. You say, what does that mean to me, f1 and d3? Well, f1 is where your freaking bishop starts out, guys. f1 is right there, and d3 is on a diagonal. It goes f1, e2, d3. They're on a diagonal, 1 space apart. And when he said rooks on f1 and d3, I knew they were 1 square apart on the diagonal because I pictured the squares in my head. Right? Vision trainer. And a bishop can come in the middle on e2, splitting the rooks, winning in exchange. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, he missed bishop e2. Oops, Firouzja did it again. 6 moves later, he let go of the rook on d3 and grabbed it again to place it on e3. But Gary noticed, stopped the clock, and claimed the breach of laws of chess. The rook was released and needed to stay on d3. Note that it wasn't about the touch move rule, as mentioned in tweets below. It wasn't about the touch move rule. As he later revealed in an interview, the Dutchman mainly claimed because he knew he would get a 2-minute time bonus. But while all this was happening, this time he couldn't help notice that Firouzja's move had been a blunder. You see, there's f1. He moves the knight to d3, and bishop e2. Forky dorkies was an exchange. Now he's up 2 pawns. You know what I mean? So, Anish Giri correctly claimed touch move versus Alireza Firouzja, who had blundered. It's not yeah, that's the point. That is not, the touch move rule is a separate rule. The touch move rule claims when you touch a piece, you must move the piece. When you release the piece must stay on the square unless it is an illegal move. Basically, that's how you make a move. That's like, there are definitions of what constitutes a move. First, it's like legal stuff, right? You're going to make rules for a world championship. They got to have a book with rules. What constitutes, you got to have definitions, guys. Definitions matter. And so they have like a definition of a move. Okay, this is not the touch move rule. The touch move rule would have been if he picked up the rook, went to move it, didn't let it go, put it back, and then touched his knight and tried to move his knight. That would be the touch move rule. The touch move rule states once you touch a piece, you have to move it. This was about once you let go of the piece, the move is completed and the piece must remain on that square unless it's an illegal move. Then you would call the arbiter and say he made an illegal move. And then they would say, what did he do? Okay. And then they'd give him, put it back and say, you have to make a legal move. Might want to make a legal move. It's not hard. They teach you how to, the pieces move on chess.com. So it's not, that is funny because Chess 24, this is just a dumbing down of America though, man. Anish Giri correctly claimed touch move versus Ali Reza, who had blundered and then corrected his move too late. That is not true and goes on to win a vital game. It's like someone that doesn't know how to play chess, I think, wrote that. Someone that doesn't know anything about chess wrote that. Who blundered, then corrected his move too late. Corrected his move? If you blunder and you take your piece off, your hand off, there's no correcting the move. The move's already done. Moves can't be correct. Okay, moves can't be corrected. Moves can't be corrected. There's no correcting. That's not even a thing. You would do right, Charlie. I was so nice during tournaments as a kid. Breach of laws or a no. Yeah, it's just your move is completed. You can't take a move back. You can't take a move back. His move is completed. Once you let go, your move is complete. I don't care if you let go like this, which Kasparov, I think, did to Judah Polgar, right? I think there's video. And he takes his hand off and he takes his hand off and grabs it real quick and moved it somewhere else. They got it on video, guys. They got it on video. It ain't good video. If you want to see it, it's it's right next to the Bigfoot video, the flat Earth pictures, and the space alien aircraft videos. Yeah. No, it's better quality than that. Jay Williams says, Charlie, I don't want to call the arbiter, but I have seen you touch pieces but not move them here at Charlie Sardo Gaming. I do. Yeah. And, dude, a lot of times you play blitz with people and you don't play touch move, you play touch clock. So you can like literally move your knight and then go to push a clock, go whoa, and take it back. Yeah, sometimes you'll play like that. It's not touch move, it's touch clock. But when you're like when Zakuto and I played, we weren't playing touch move. It's freaking 1 minute chess, 2 minute chess, 5 minute chess. You don't play touch move. You don't have to. In a tournament, you play touch move. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So that was funny. Giri reveals he only called touch move versus Ferrugia to get some extra time, but then realized his opponent had blundered. That is beautiful too. Because imagine this. I want to set the position up. I want another board. How do I get another board? Like you go here, let me see. I just want to open up a whole nother window so I don't lose that. Check out the shirt Courtney got me, guys. I think you guys might have seen it. It's a Waylon Jennings shirt. Okay, let me get chess.com back up. There we go. Okay, analysis. Because I want to make a point on this. Wait, learn analysis. trash the Amigos position. Where's the trash? Set up position. Show me a trash can. I think they were black rooks, right? Oh, wait. Black rook on D3 here. White bishop here. And there was some other stuff going on. But, oh, okay, I got you guys now. There was other stuff going on. But the point is, Firouzja put his rooks like this on F1 and D3 to where Geary could play bishop E2, and neither of the rooks could escape with checks or do anything, and he would win and exchange back. And he was up 2 pawns. So it would be winning. So Firouzja puts the rook on D3 and then picks it up. He puts it on D3, releases it, and then picks it up real quick and tries to move it somewhere else because he realized he did this. Now, Geary could have just said, no, you released it. Because if Geary would have seen the fork. Geary claims he didn't see the fork. And he claims that he only reported it to the arbiter to get a time penalty on his clock. That he let go and then touched it again and tried to make another move. What if Geary saw the blunder, knew he was going to win the exchange, but still called the arbiter over and said he just made this move and he tried to take it back? What did he do? He let go and he picked it up again and started moving it again. They're like, you can't do that. You get a 2-minute penalty. And so then, but he has to stay in his position, right? So that would be brutal because I'd just be like, you blundered. I'm playing Queen E2. You blundered. Just put it back. He put it back, and then I play Bishop E2. No, you wait. And you call the arbiter, and you get him for the infraction, and then you still get to play Bishop E2, but with 2 more minutes on your clock. You know what I'm saying? It's very possible that could have happened, man. Geary seems like a very, very kind person. But, I mean, you beat Firouzja, guys. Beating Firouzja? He's pretty tough. As part of another match, without a single draw, GM Nordirbek Absutararov defeated GM Wei Yi in an attractive game. It started from a modern line of the London, an opening that has been known as boring for a long time, but delivers plenty of exciting material these days. It seems Wei played the Bishop B2 tactic, 2 moves too late, which meant a 4th loss. Here is the game. Okay, wow, yeah. I mean, sorry for that, because I didn't want to read that. Is that, yeah, that's Norderbeck right there. Okay, you can watch the event on Kick. Yeah, that's why I haven't seen any of this, guys. I think Kick might be sponsoring this. I think Kick might be one of the sponsors. Because I saw Hikaru getting interviewed. And there was like a Kick backdrop for the interview. I play with my left, tap the clock with my right. Haha, yeah, once you get to a big boy tournament, you won't. Hey, Zero Zawastowski, how you doing, man? Once you get to a big boy tournament, you won't be allowed. You ain't doing that when you play me. You have to move the piece and push the clock with the same hand. And the reason that is done is to be sure you don't push the clock before you're done moving your piece. You have to move the piece, push the clock. And that's why some people, I'm not ambidextrous, but it's really hard when you're playing speed chess and the clock is on your right, because black gets a clock, meaning black gets to put the clock on whatever side of the board he wants. When you're playing black, you get to put the clock on whatever side of the board you want. And so if you're right-handed, you put it on your right side, so you can, if you get in time trouble, or if it's a speed chess tournament. So very often when people are playing speed chess for hours, after every game, the clock moves. The clock moves. The clock moves. The clock moves, right? So it's hard if they put the clock over on the left side, it's really hard to make a move and then reach over and push the clock. It's very slow. So you don't have to get a whole lot better with your left hand than it is right now for it to be fast, because it's just so close. So when I was in Italy, I was visiting family, and a friend of mine let me stay at his grandmother's apartment. It was amazing. He said, why are you spending money for the hotel? My grandma doesn't even, she lives with us. Place is empty. Here's the key. Come on, let's go. Let's check it out. Bam, you live here. Bang. Saved me freaking hundreds of dollars, guys, when I was like freaking 21 years old. on a trip to Europe. It was amazing. But I brought my chessboard, and what I would do at night when I had nothing to do because there was no internet, I would knock the pieces over, and then I would set them up with my left hand. Then I'd knock them over, and I'd set them up with my left hand. I'd knock them over and set them up with my left hand. And then I'd study, and I would move everything with my left hand. And I got to the point where I started playing chess with my left hand when they moved the clock. I'm still way faster on my right side. They could play speed chess with handheld stopwatches. Yeah. Okay, well, so that's pretty much the only news I wanted to see was, you see Geary calling the arbiter. I wish they had it on video, bro. I wish they had it on video. Well, guys, we had an absolutely amazing stream today. I freaking love you guys. If you're new to the stream, guys, if you're watching on Facebook, you definitely need to hit that follow button if you don't already follow. You can also type !notify. If you guys want live alerts every time I go live, every time I go live, you go to Charly Sardo Game, you go to my page, you can see it right there, click on it, go to the top, you'll see the live alert channel. Click on it, join it. Every time I go live, doesn't matter where I go live, anywhere in the world, I just type bing, 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 hey, I'm live right here. I could be live on my phone from going out to eat dinner or something, and I could send a little thing. I haven't really done that, but it could happen. But the point is you'll never miss another live, because I said every time, another live you don't want to miss. You'll get an alert. You're going to alert. It works. Join the live alert channel, guys. People swear by it. And we're going to look on Facebook, see if there's anyone to raid, because I got peeps I love. Looking. Miss Rhea is playing Call of Duty, guys. She has 6. I know Miss Rhea. Do you guys like Call of Duty? Does anyone like Call of Duty? Miss Rhea is pretty cool. She's a Facebook gaming partner. Met her at the partner Facebook meetup thing. Saw her again at the Instagram, very exclusive Instagram spooky Halloween party. It's kind of weird for me to rate a Call of Duty streamer, you know. So I think I'm not going to raid the Call of Duty streamer. So Daryl Zarostowski's followage 1,118 days, man. How long is that? How many? 1,118 divided by 364. It's 364, right? Yeah. So we're 3 years, bro? Is that true? That's a lot. Yeah. I remember, I swear, I almost remember the first time I saw you, Daryl. I just do. Zawistowski, because I remember trying to remember your name. And I still reread it sometimes. But I remember, dude. I really do. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like, you don't really know people on the internet, right? You guys don't really know me, okay? I could be like a freaking, I don't know what. It'd be pretty hard to freaking pull that off for 3 years. But you kind of get an idea, you know, people's vibes and stuff. You know what I mean? And it's really cool. Ever since the old school shooter game. Yeah. Oh, is that how you found me? Did you find me from Ghost Recon? Is that how you found me, man? Because, yeah, I got like that one was it? 100. I think that was the 160,000 views or something. Yeah, 160,000 views on that one. Yeah, I got a lot of views on that one. That one reached out to I think like 500,000 people, and I got 160-some thousand views. The big one was World of Warcraft, deleting my my level 60s, and that was that one reached out to like. Was it 3 million people? Yeah, like 500,000 or 600,000 views or something like that. It was a lot. There's a lot of people. Yeah. There's a lot of people that found me from the World of Warcraft thing and stuck around. You know, because they're like, I like chess. He plays different games. Oh, this guy's cool. You know. Yeah. Congrats to those views, Charlie. Those are huge numbers. Oh, Wolf. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I wasn't monetized. It was before I had my commercials on Facebook. I'm monetized now. And it wasn't even a video. Wolf, it wasn't a video. It was a it was a live. It was a live stream that was watched on replays. I didn't edit it. Isn't that crazy? I don't think I did. I didn't. I might have trimmed the beginning. What we used to do sometimes is when your video's over, you go to the beginning of the stream and you wait until I'm making the first move. Okay, we're in a game, but I start my streams like that. So I don't need to trim anything. You know what I'm saying? I might have trimmed, but like I didn't like take it into DaVinci and edit it and clip and cut and voiceover and intro screen. There was no thumbnail. There was probably no thumbnail. It was pretty crazy, man. I don't think there was a thumbnail. And it just, people watched it, man. People watched it. I wish I was monetized someday. I will be. You will, Wolf, if you stick at it, brother. If you stick at it. Dude, for me, when I got monetized on YouTube, it was like, I did the math, and I'm like, I streamed for like a week or something, and I kind of got an idea of how long it was going to take. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to stream like 7 days a week, like, 4 hours for 10 months. I'm like, all right. And I started doing it. And then I got it like in like 3 months or something, 3.5 months. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was gonna be 10 months of 7 days a week for 4 hours, and I was like, all right, gotta do it. Like nothing's free, man. Nothing worth having is free. You know what I'm saying? Nothing worth having is free. And the funny thing too is, it's like, it is very true, and they always say this. Like my YouTube videos don't suck, but I mean they're probably not as good as the better guys. You know what I'm saying? They're probably not the best YouTube videos on YouTube. If they were great, if they're really, really, really good, you get better as you go, right? I'm trying to get better. But if they were really, really, really good, I would get more views. I believe that 1,000,000%. That because people that already are going to watch it will watch it a little bit longer. It will feed in the algorithm. They'll feed it more. You can see it really easy with shorts. You make a good short, a good popping short. It gets so many views, and you notice, if it's a 45-second short and people are watching it, average view time is 39 seconds, 30. Like, people are watching almost everyone that comes watches almost the whole thing. You know what I mean? That's a good reel. That's a good reel. And they're easier to land on because you can get lucky because you make more of them. You know what I'm saying? But with the videos for me, I just got to keep trying to make better videos. And and the point too was getting monetized. It's cool and I want it, but if I ever get lucky and hit one of my videos that I'm trying to become the best at, that I'm doing, one of them ends up taking off and getting 1 million views, I'll make a few bucks. That'd be pretty cool. It'd be better to be monetized or not, but you don't make a ton of money off plays if a ton of people aren't watching your videos, monetized or not. I think that's the point I was trying to get to. You had your Facebook followers. 1,000% I did. No, you're right. Yeah. 1,000,000,000%, Wolf. It helps 1,000,000,000%. The building, but you got to understand. Yeah, well, you know what, Wolf? You say you got 2.6 views on one short. No idea how or why. I'm happy for it though, dude. Do it again. Do the same thing, just different. You know what I'm saying? Look at what you did. Look at the pacing. Look at like one of my better shorts on YouTube is the Alberonic the archers at Ordena Liturgical Town, where I say I wonder if I could sleep if I could sleep arrow this guy. And I'm like, I want to try it. It's probably not going to work. And then I'm running over and I got to run all the way over. And I'm like, and people wanted, nothing really happened at the beginning other than me shooting with some arrows. And then I got to run all the way around to see if it worked. And that was one of my most successful reels. And yeah. And so I've tried to learn from that to try and do that kind of thing. That's what they do with the mindless stuff. The mindless stuff, they hold the paper up and then they just keep you there. They just keep turning the page and they keep you there and they turn you into a freaking zombie. Well, that's what they say to do with the videos and stuff. What we're going to show you today, tell them what you're going to show them and then make them, and then build up to it and show them. I mean, dude, I'm not even, listen, I'll tell you, I'm just jamming with you right now anyway, because like I ain't claiming that I know everything. But I'll tell you this too, when you said that it helped me, it helped my YouTube, 1,000,000% my community helped me get my footing on YouTube from my Facebook community. I love it and thank you. But when I started streaming on Facebook, I had nobody. You know what I'm saying? And I was streaming to nobody for a long time. And then people start coming in. People start staying. People start commenting. People start sharing. Oh, yeah, man. You know what I do too, Wolf? I don't know if you do this, but you want more exposure? As long as you don't have copyright music or YouTube music on your reel, upload it to TikTok too. I got a TikTok with I think 55,000. Dude, I got an Instagram reel. It was kind of cheating, but I got an Instagram reel with I think 5 million. Yeah, 5 million views on an Instagram reel. And when I say it was cheating, it was because it was through Facebook. They're like, submit some reels, and we will, because we were doing stuff with Instagram. I went to like I have a cup. I have a cup. I went to Instagram Reel School, and I was taught from people at Instagram. Have you ever heard of IGN? People at IGN, people that do IGN, like maybe the founder and some other guy, they literally were in our Zoom call teaching us how to make reels. And there was a point of that. TikTok. Oh, yeah. So they said, and everyone that came to the Zoom call today, the Facebook Gaming Partners, if you want to have your some reels promoted, send us the reel and we'll look at it, and we're going to pick some people and we're going to promote them for free on Instagram. And I gave one of my reels, and it got freaking like over, I think it might be 6 million, but the badge I got is have a reel with 5 million views or more. You know what I mean? And it's the one with my ninja disguise. I have a shirt where if you pull it up over your face, it turns the black shirt turns into a ninja hood, and then there's a ninja mask on it. So you could pull your shirt up over like this and turn it to a ninja. And Courtney gave it to me as a gift. So I just made a little reel showing that shirt, and that's the one that got. And dude, you know how many followers on Instagram, like a 6 million view reel? It probably got 6 million views like in a couple weeks. You know how many followers that got me? I probably I don't know, 25, 30 or something. Yeah, back when the coffee can was brand new. Taking smoke breaks with you. Yeah. You've done an amazing job looking back now to where you are, man. So impressive. Daryl, well, I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm very, very, very happy to be here. And I'll tell you, Wolf, just talking to other content creators, it helps, man. I went into a Headlocked Gaming stream because we rated him the other day. And he said, "Oh, hey, Charlie, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, hey, did you know about this?" And, I use Stream Elements. Do you, I've been having a problem with this. Do you have that problem? I'm like, I use Streamlabs. He said, "Oh, yeah, but I don't like Streamlabs because of this." And it's like, we just talk about, we just want to talk about, we want to be, not just because we want to talk about content creation. We want to talk about stuff like, how many stream decks do you have? Like, I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 12 buttons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have 8 there. So I have 20 buttons plus 4 volume knobs that all can act as buttons. 24 buttons plus the volume knobs. It's like if I feel like need another stream deck, and I can talk to someone else and be like, how many buttons for stream deck do you have? You know what I mean? Am I overdoing this? Software. What do you use to put your titles on your videos? They look so good. You know what I'm saying? Just anyone that does this crazy job that you can talk to about, because when you're sitting here alone, you can learn it from YouTube, you can Google stuff, and you figure stuff out yourself. Dave Joyce, thanks for the 100, man. Yeah, I might make another TikTok. My one got deleted or something, right? Got logged out, can't remember. Yeah, because if you're doing the work, Streamlabs is trash, though. Well, I don't use Streamlabs software. I use Streamlabs for my alerts. All these alerts you're seeing are from Streamlabs. Dave Joyce, thank you for 100. Right here. Bang. Right there. I use those. I use Streamlabs for my alerts. But I use OBS to stream. I started out with some weird program called XSplit. You ever heard of that? Then I moved over to Streamlabs, and then I ended up on OBS, and I'll never go back. I like OBS. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good way to stream, folks. And we built the best chess community in the world. Dave Joyce, did you see that Fallujah tried to move his rook twice? He tried to move his rook twice. He put his rook. He had rooks on F1 and D3. He dropped a rook on D3, and he realized Gary could play Bishop E2. Did you see this drama? And so he let go of the rook, and then he picked it back up, tried to remove it. Gary's like, "Excuse me, arbiter." OBS is solid, no complaints. Yeah, I mean, what else is there? I mean, who doesn't use OBS besides just Streamlabs? Streamlabs when it's working was beautiful. See you live tonight. Summon me. You got it, brother. Dave Joyce has been out, just got home. Hope you guys had a great stream so far. We did, man. We did. We had a great chess stream. Played some good games. Didn't break any world records on the old Vision Trainer. We got some chess news. We saw Gary, the way he reported Ali Reza Farusha. Yeah, you saw the return. Funny. Well, now I do need to take a break because now I'm starting to feel my throat, guys. I'm going live tonight. Tonight, probably going to get back on Elden Ring because we're doing the all boss run, and it's so much fun. It's just so much fun. Just pull up the list. Where's the next boss? Ding. Okay, everyone goes over there. I might have to ride over there or get to it, but I just do it in order. And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I have to do some invasions now, and I just realized we killed Godric, and if we may have locked out some of those invasions, maybe that's why they're in order. You know what I mean? I want you to play the New World again sometime. Daryl, dude, I love New World, man. I'm trying to think if I reinstalled that. That was on Steam, right? Was New World on Steam, folks? I almost feel like I reinstalled it because it was like an update or something. Lost Ark. Do I own? I think I tried that game. Did I buy that game? New World. It says play, not install. I only have 184 hours in New World. They took that from me way too soon. I loved that game. Yeah, you know what I might do, man? I don't know when, but I might dig into New World, man, at some point. But I'm having a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last night, and so we're gonna do more of that. All right, guys. A lot more things to do, I bet. I never even hit max level. Consoles have their own program for streaming. Not sure what, though. All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Catch you guys later.